coming up with a product that you can like hold in your hands that's gonna benefit somebody, like totally mind-blowing to be an author for the first time ever. O Malia Maunakea ko ui noa. My name is Malia Maunakea. Wa kakau au. I write. I'm a writer. I was born in Volcano. So Volcano is a little town south of Hilo on Hawaii Island. I came to Colorado to go to CU Boulder for civil engineering and stayed here. I find somebody who's done what it is you want to do and ask them how to do it. That's my motto in life. Her name is Courtney Johnson, and she wrote about the best Utah hikes with kids, or Utah's best hikes with kids. Like, yes, that's exactly what I want to do. I just want to elevate it and do backpacking with kids. I followed her advice and I reached out to CMC Press and submitted my proposal. It was growing and it got me in the door because you write what you know, and that's something that I had heard of, and I know backpacking, so great. I'm gonna write this book. But yes, nonfiction was not really for me in that format, but it's got like my kids on it, and it's just a fun little how-to book, but there are first aid sections and there are things that I wasn't originally planning. But look how little they were. I wrote about this, maybe I can write about fiction. So I wrote, again, stick with what you know. I wrote a chapter book, which is like Magic Treehouse size, really short, maybe 8,000 to 12,000 words. That was about a brother and a sister going backpacking. I researched to see if there were any of these on the market, and I didn't see any. I got involved with SCBWI, which is Society of Children Book Writers and Illustrators, to figure out, okay, you have a book, now what? And then I learned how to query, which is submitting it to agents, because apparently you need agents if you're doing traditional publishing, which is what I wanted to do. You need agents to submit them to editors. I got 70 rejections, and they come in slowly. So this book is done. I start writing the second in what I've visualized as a huge series that's going to sell all over the place, and it's going to be amazing. It doesn't. Okay, I wrote 10,000 words. Maybe I can write something longer because it looks like middle grade sells a bit more than chapter books. So then I started researching what middle grade books are out there and what ideas I have that could fit, because I really wanted to write a story about Hawaii and the stories that I had grown up hearing. I started writing this story in April of 2020, which is 1 month in to the pandemic, essentially. So we were all stuck at home, but nothing really changed in my head or heart, because I was writing this high of, I'm a writer. I'm going to get this book thing. I don't know how, but I'm gonna. So I had started in January with the nonfiction, in March with the chapter books, and now it's April. I'm gonna make this happen. And I ended up finishing the book, the first draft, in August, like 4 months to write the first horrible draft. But I was so excited because I did it. And I found out that there were mentorships. I was incredibly grateful to work with Andrea Wang and with Alan Gratz. And they helped me really rewrite my story, because I was missing some very critical pieces, like a character arc. I didn't know what that was, and an all is lost moment, because I really like happy stories and I didn't want a sadness. And turns out you need a sadness, so I put a sadness in. And for me, again, write what you know, I put my heart into it, which was all of my fears and insecurities about not being Hawaiian enough, growing up in Hawaii and being called haole and like going to a school for Hawaiians and not feeling like I belonged. So Lei is a girl from Colorado who is part Hawaiian, and she goes back to Hawaii every summer to visit her tutu, her grandma, and her grandma tries to fill her in on all things Hawaiian and her culture and like help her get in touch with her roots, because she's going to be the keeper of the stories, the keeper of the mo'olelo. She's the one to pass it down, but she doesn't see the point. Nobody in Colorado cares about any of these wild stories. They don't believe any of the legends. It's all fake and phony. So what happens when she blatantly defies a goddess because she doesn't believe and picks one of the goddess's flowers? It ended up going to auction. We had 3 editors from publishing houses bid on the story, and it sold in September. It was really hard and scary. It's really scary to put yourself out on the page like that, knowing that I am representing kind of all of Hawaii right now, because these are just my fears and insecurities. This isn't everybody everywhere, but the response I've gotten is that it resonates across a lot of identities, but a lot of times the hardest things are the things most worth doing. So I'm glad I did it. And yeah, I'm glad it's out there. I have book 2 coming out this summer. This is now the Lay and the Legends series, so that's exciting.